Welcome back to another episode of The Trenches. This is crypto's #1 live stream focused on the builders and doers of Solana and the crypto ecosystem more broadly. We are here because the trenches are for everyone. All the apps, all the developers, all the traders. It's not just coins, it's coins plus apps in the entire ecosystem. And this is the only live stream bringing it to you in its entirety. So welcome back. As we always do, we have a terrific lineup today. We're going to be talking about Move to Earn, which was, I would say, last cycle, one of the hottest trends we've ever seen. And we have sort of a new emergence of Move to Earn after that. And we have two terrific guests who are going to be talking with us today about that. That includes Kaitlin Cooke, who is head of growth at Moonwalk Fitness. We're going to be talking about Move to Earn. We're going to be talking about fitness. We're even going to be giving away some codes for people that want to get on the app or want to get special rewards on the app. I can tell you this is a really cool product, and I know people that use it, and even at crypto conferences or around, just walking together. And you get to compete against your friends and win money if you win. So that's Kaitlin Cooke. Welcome. We're going to do a longer explanation of Moonwalk, but that's the high level. We also have Jared, who's CEO of GolfN. And I will say I'm not a golfer. It's not my thing. I feel like my knees are not good for it. As soon as I start doing the twists, things start creaking a little bit too much. But golf is one of the globe's most popular sports. There is an opportunity for the intersection of crypto and golf and socializing with your friends and competing. And of course, golf is very much a move to earn type activity. And so how does crypto start to juice that experience? We're going to be talking about Jared. Welcome. Really excited to have this conversation. Just to set a little bit of context before we jump in. I was looking up some stats on STEPN. So everyone knows STEPN. It was the largest move to earn protocol last cycle. People would buy sneakers, and then depending on what sneaker you had, you would earn tokens based on how far you walked. You could then use the tokens you received to repair the sneakers or buy new sneakers. And it was the largest at one point on Solana. It was the largest DEX and NFT marketplace at the same time. And so I don't think we've ever seen that where a single app or a single product was both the largest NFT marketplace and the largest DEX. And so absolutely incredible product experience. 2 million users at one point. The market cap GMT had GMT token had a market cap of over $3.4 billion. 3.4 billion. And sneakers themselves, it was not free to play. Sneakers themselves could, on the low end, go for $50 to $100. At the high end, over $1,000. Right? So that was the context. And then it kind of started to fizzle out. And we could talk a little bit about why. But I kind of knew something was going on when I was walking with. And he said, hey, by the way, we just made $80 on this walk of a mile. I'm like, okay, well, that seems really aggressive. I wonder if this is going to be able to keep going into perpetuity. But there's a whole new generation Move to Earn. So that's a little bit of context about why we're talking about this subject today. Kaitlin and Jared, welcome. So maybe just to start, I want to talk about, why do we even need Move to Earn? There's apps like Strava, there's Fitbit, there's, My Apple Fitness. All of these things exist today and seem to have fairly good traction. But, so why do we even need crypto? And once you talk about that a little bit, where's the opportunity for crypto to come in, and especially to create some healthy experiences? Whoever wants to jump in first, feel free to get us started.
Yeah, I can start. So I think if we've seen one thing that crypto has been successful at, it has been financial incentives in one way or another, whether short-term oriented, long-term oriented, that has been the hook time and time again. So where I see that fitting in kind of to the experiences that we already use today is kind of leveraging the power of financial incentives to add another element to a lot of different products that are already successful out there, giving a bit of a twist, adding the ability for users to be rewarded and potentially earn in a variety of ways for the things that we're already doing. We're doing that with Moonwalk. You're seeing that with GolfN as well, adding a twist on, these already proven market fits of what end consumers are interested in and what they're spending their time on, and sort of adding a new element to it. We've seen crypto be successful in that time and time again. I would say it's one of the main sort of differentiators of the space. So I think using that to take the kind of current app product set, add a new dimension to it, if you will, I think is sort of the way I think about it. But I'd be curious to hear from Jared as well.
Yeah, well, I think you hit it on the head. And by the way, thanks for having me. This is cool. I haven't streamed on Pump. This is different. I like it.
Yeah,
I've been too
it is
busy.
funny where you like when you first open it, you have the token ticker right there. And it's funny. I remember one point, I was talking to somebody and the market cap went down by like 500K. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, did I say something incorrectly?
Yeah,
But then
boy,
you
these
realize it's
guys.
crypto. Things go down,
Yeah,
things go up,
that's just
and
how it goes.
it's just all about attention and the way the markets work.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. I also saw the $1 billion raise at a $4 billion valuation for Pump.fun, and I thought, my God, where have we gone? But to that point, and I think Kate had a good call there. This is it's a different way to motivate. It's a different way to get people doing things. A reimagining, if you will, with GolfN. We've been telling the story about what GolfN is, and we have about 500 people testing the app right now. And obviously, we'll be on the App Store soon. But we have an ability by marrying these concepts together to be a first mover in the consumer app space for golf with something that is shown. I mean, I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but the ability to get people to onboard and download and try new things when there's a crypto element, like the stats are through the roof relative to just like a
Mm.
basic app, right? Like, okay, well, here's this new thing. It's a little bit different. And now, and really like to go back to your opening here a little bit, what's more ridiculous to me about Step In versus all the things you just said, and that is ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong, to be the largest, exchange, and
DEX and NFT
obviously,
marketplace
and NFT
concurrently.
marketplace, like absolutely crazy. They did it with a very clunky UI
Mm.
and UX. So it's not even the fact that like they pulled it off. They pulled it off when the experience was brutal. I remember doing it. And I was like, "What is happening here?" And I was someone who was on Heco Chain when it first launched, right? Like, and that was having to go through some guy I didn't know to allow me to transfer money onto a chain I wasn't supposed to be on. And I found Steppen more prohibitive. Okay,
Yep.
and they got to a multi-billion-dollar market cap doing it. But I think there's just this unlock, this element of interest and ownership that you just can't get another way. And what I like about what we're doing, what Moonwalk's doing, is finding new ways to unlock that little piece in your brain that pulls that like, ooh, like this is exciting. It's like Vegas every time I go for a
Mm.
walk. It's like Vegas every time I step on the golf course, and that's already like that in golf. But it's this little piece that like scratches your brain, and you're like, oh man, I just want more. And if you build a good product behind that, it becomes the best way to onboard people into a new experience, right?
Cool. Well, that's okay. So that's a great framing from. So one of the things I'm hearing is let's start with like human psychology around financial incentives, getting people to use. Because as you know,
Hmm.
it's so hard to get people. There's an infinite amount of things to scroll to participate in, and crypto can be one of those unique ways to differentiate. I think you highlighted that, Jared. And also, it's a different type of user experience that can enable new interactions with people. So, in the
Yeah.
case of Moonwalk, you're basically competing with your friends, and so your friends are probably competing about things all the time. But now you have a coordinated way to do so. And so I want to start with user onboarding. So to your point, Steppen used to be very hard to like use the app, and you had to be a little bit crypto native. And I will say, people find out a way to use things if they can make money. The amount of crazy setups I've seen for the purpose of making money, people find a way. But that said, when we start to go mass market and it gets in, the next iterative person, it's going to be harder and harder to get them up. But what have both of you done to make it easy and compelling, like the value prop and the UX, to get started on both of your apps?
Well, I think you just highlighted exactly what I would have said, which is yes, StepN at one point was like the most widely used consumer app, which is absolutely crazy thinking about what that experience was. People will jump through hoops if there's an urgency about, being an early mover to make money.
Mhm.
For us, we're thinking about it a different way. And I would argue that, if StepN launched today with the exact same product offering and same onboarding experience, I'm not sure if they would have the numbers that they did at that time. One, because there are so many competing, meme coins and other like cash grab opportunities in the space that are drawing attention. And also because I think with the progression of the space, there's becoming a higher and higher standard, as there should be, around the onboarding experience, which for me, I'm thinking about this nonstop with Moonwalk. I always say we are a fitness app first that's built on chain, not a crypto app focusing on fitness. And to me, that informs the way that we're creating the roadmap for the product, building it, making improvements to it every day. And it all starts with onboarding. Nikita Beer always talks about this, but the more steps that you add into an onboarding process, the higher amount of drop off. How quickly can you get a user from downloading the app into touching and feeling the product? And when it comes to, I think, crypto products, what we've seen in the past is there's too much of forcing users to need a wallet, need an NFT, need XYZ, sort of difficult thing, or jumping through hoops where, that might be intimidating to an end user, where it just stops them in their tracks. For us, we want the benefits of, the on-chain parts of what we're talking about, of, why financial incentives, why build on Solana. Those should be humming seamlessly in the backdrop, but the real value prop of the product should be what the real intention of it is, which for Moonwalk specifically is helping people form healthy habits, gamifying fitness, making it social and fun in a way that people haven't seen. We should hypothetically be moving people through that onboarding process as fast as possible. So that starts with sign-in methods. What are Web 2 users used to? Yep. They expect to sign in with phone number, with email, with Apple, with Google Auth. Those are just table stakes at this point, in my opinion. So we started with having that as, the main sign-in method that we're offering. We have an embedded wallet feature within the app that does not require a user to have crypto, to have a wallet to get started. They don't need an NFT, anything like that. We have free to play mode, which is sort of the bridge between us working on R&D of our fiat on-ramp and off-ramp, where users can buy game credits with Apple Pay or credit card, and put money on the line in games that way without needing crypto. Kind of getting towards the tail end of starting to get that implemented, which is exciting, but having a free mode for people to kind of dip their toes in. In the meantime, I think if you're asking people to put money onto a platform right away when they haven't gotten to experience it and get a feel for, what you're trying to do and if they actually enjoy it, that's a bit prohibitive as well. So those are the first things. And then I think also it just comes back to a simple value prop and a simple story. You explaining step in at the beginning of this and all of the hoops to jump through to even use the product is the exact opposite of what we're going for. And we use that as sort of the jumping off point of where did move to earn attempts in the past go wrong? And I think the need for an NFT, need for crypto, having secondary markets on it being sort of like the main conduit for getting into experience the app, not necessarily. I think if you frame it the right way, you can do it in a way that's, fun and entertaining and makes sense to the end user. I do not think that was the case at the time. So it's a lot of just thinking about, if you tried to explain this to a user, first, how quickly could you do it that they'd actually be able to understand? How many steps does it take for them to actually go from downloading the app to using and touching and feeling the product? And then from there, if you want to make choices on, if there's implementation of crypto tokens or NFTs, which I think GolfN is a great example of how they're doing that in an interesting way and framing it in such that it's actually interesting to an end consumer, whether they know about crypto or not. That's where things can, go really well or really poorly. And I think GolfN is a great example of, structuring that properly, where I could explain what you guys are doing and integrating NFTs to the platform to my dad. And I think that would actually make sense to him, which is a lot different than what we saw in the first iteration of Move to Earn, where it was a bit more of a turnoff than anything.
Checks in the mail, Kate. Checks in the mail.
I was going to say, I think we could just wrap it up here. We're done. Everyone.
Yeah.
That was great. But actually, I want to go to Jared and just kind of double click into that. So, I mean, you talked about a lot of like the clear things we can do this cycle we couldn't. Email login, or the email login, the automatic wallet creation, go to get Apple Pay to use the product instead of needing to withdraw from something else. So like those are like the basic things that make it a lot more accessible and less scary, and even like a more native experience that doesn't feel as crypto forward. So like, how does crypto? But what else you said is that crypto makes a better value proposition. In other words, users can use Strava today, they can enjoy it, they can use it, but by using crypto, we can create a better value proposition than a Web 2 product, or at least a different one for a subset. So Jared, what So in the game of golf, what is the value proposition that crypto brings to really couldn't do in a web?
Well, it's a good question. I think the thing I've been pointing to recently, and again, just like I made the joke about the check being in the mail to Kate, um, the National Golf Foundation is a huge organization in the United States. They just do research and stats and aggregate data and information around the world of golf, mainly the United States. They actually do it for the world too.
Yep.
And they put out these research studies that are very scientific. Fun fact: I didn't know this till after I started golfing. The guy I went to college with is their chief research officer, Dave Lawrence, and I didn't tell him to do this. What I'm about to tell you, but they released a study in March about how golfers feel they're acknowledged and recognized by brands inside of the game of golf. And 77% of golfers said they feel unrecognized by brands in golf. 77%. And only 3 to 5% felt like there was any recognition at all.
Are we talking about
And this
brands like the clubs or the attire or the physical
anything.
club, anything like that?
Anything. They're talking anything. Literally, it was wide open. Do you feel like anyone acknowledges the amount of money you spend on this game? Do you feel like
Nope.
anyone acknowledges the time and effort that goes into this? 3 to 5% of this group of people said yes, and the rest of them said no.
Wow.
77% said it feels like I'm not recognized any more than someone who's never picked up a golf club, meaning me, whose life evolves around golf, and you, who do not golf, get the same amount of recognition from brands.
Wow. Well, that's not right.
It's not right. And I, like
So
I
you're gonna
said, I'm like,
fix it. So you're gonna fix.
that's it.
How is
I'm going to fix
all right?
it because
Let's dig
functionally
dig in.
speaking, exactly in the GolfN app, you earn GolfN points. Um, and what are those redeemable for? Anything you want: items in golf, drivers, apparel. You can redeem for experiences, items. Will be already the most robust reward system in the world of golf on our first day because it doesn't exist. These companies are just used to these people who on average make $120,000 a year, who on average spend between $2,500 and $10,000 a year to just continue coming back, and they don't have to give back.
Yep.
And so we found this reward mechanism in Loop. And actually, I had a couple investors in my first round go, "Why do you even need to do this with crypto?" And I said, well, there's a couple of reasons. Like the first one is I remember when I could get a round trip flight on Southwest Airlines for like 3,800 points, and now it's like 48,000. Okay. Like you just move the goalposts, and that to me has always pissed me off. And if it's my company, I'm not going to do that. And this provides a buoy to that system. And two, like it's a level of transparency people are unaccustomed to seeing, and we can provide that, particularly with the things that Kate just said. We've abstracted away the entire wallet experience, everything you need to know. It doesn't feel any different than anything else out there, but it's going to have a more robust feature set than anything that's currently in the market.
That's great. And so, like, both of you touched on something interesting where I'm trying to understand what's the so for your products, what is the biggest driver of behavior? Where one ring is sort of enabling new user or sorry, enabling new behaviors. So like I was not going to go for a walk or I was not going to play golf, but by doing so, I'm the incentive that I'm getting makes it now like worth my effort or my time that I was. So incentivizing new actions versus rewarding and let's say reinforcing existing action. So I'm drawing a Venn diagram, but I think the way the live stream is Venn diagrams intersecting. What's the right framework here? Is one more important than the other? Are both of those part of your main product road? Is that even the right framework to be thinking about this? How do you what do you think?
I think so. I mean, the marriage of the two, I think, is super important and something that you don't see in fitness products today. So similar to what Jared was saying around like golf products, not necessarily or golfers not necessarily being rewarded for their actions. If you look at the current landscape of fitness products, largely subscription based, largely no financial reward component for most of these larger products like Strava that you see today. You're more so kind of putting money up at the door and not necessarily getting rewarded on the back end for doing what you say you're going to do, performing certain actions, that sort of thing. With Moonwalk, everything that we're doing is based around user psychology and changing user behavior, maintaining positive behavior and reinforcing that with rewards, whether that's financial rewards from earning extra money from other players in the game you join who don't hit their step goals when you do, or social rewards as well, which I think is where you see, products like Strava having success, where you're able to share your accomplishments. You have this built-in community of people who are like-minded, who have similar interests, and that in itself, in fitness generally speaking, is really powerful. So I think there's a stickiness there from both sides. And what you're seeing with the financial incentives part, which I think is super important, and also would caveat this by saying beta testing with people from the crypto industry has been very entertaining, because I think, as we all know, a lot of people in the space have a very skewed perspective of, yield expectations and the rewards that you get. For the crypto native users who are on the platform today, I would argue that they're maximizing more for they're maximizing for return, rather than where I think my conversations with the average mainstream consumer has been, which is loss aversion. My mom, for example, talking to her about the product, which is, oh, I would put money on the line and I wouldn't want to lose that money, so I would hit my goals and then I'd be healthier. And that's like, any money earned additionally is a bit of a bonus. And I think that's where you see a bit of a separation. Whereas when we've had crypto native users as their beta testers, which has been incredible for Moonwalk, and I don't think you see that as like a Web 2 app. You don't get like a built-in beta testing group like you would in a community like Solana, which is a massive benefit on its own. The psychology is very different. So kind of working with that versus thinking of long-term vision of how we want to do that, I think is a delicate balance. I will say, and this goes back to what Jared said as well, and sorry if this is a bit of a ramble, on the different types of rewards. I think where we saw a lot of products go wrong in the past is that they initially led with token rather than the product and the PMF of that product itself. And by doing that, the token became the product, not the product itself. Yep. And that's very hard to unwind in terms of the way that users behave and interact with your app. And I love what GolfN is doing, and we're thinking about this for, Moonwalk later on with our experience points program as well, which is how can what users are doing within the app translate to rewards that they understand? Can we give them experiences? Can we give them discounts or exclusive deals on different types of products, different apparel, different, you name it. So how do we create an experience with rewards that they can tangibly understand, whether they're familiar with crypto or not? And I think a lot of the products in the past just stopped at earn token and hope that token goes up and to the right, hope that you're early enough that you're going to make money off of this, sell when you can. And it's a bit of a short-term oriented sort of inflationary model. And we saw why that didn't work out. Like a product like StepN had crazy user numbers and tons of, interest and eyeballs on it. But if you look at where that is today, it ultimately became unsustainable because I don't think there were, more of the real world like hooks that would keep the average user coming back, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Why is somebody going to keep spending? The only reason people are investing in some of those shoes and StepN is because they expect to make money. But then once the price of that goes down, then they realize they're not going to make money. So there's a lot less investing. And so you kind of start peeling it back until you much, much, much smaller. You might be passionate about the product, but then there is a whole other group that came in only your point for the token. It's interesting thinking about, like, again, I as a product manager previously and venture capitalist now, I always think in framework, right? And so we had the framework of, are you reinforcing existing behaviors, trying to incentivize new ones? The other one is like community is so important to crypto. And next framework is like, is most of your user story, talk to users, is it mainly about building engagement with the, or is it about like, I'm actually on this product that I couldn't do in Strava?
Yeah, well, I don't. Golf's a little bit different, right? And even from like the last question that you asked about like changing behavior, reinforcing old ones, right? Like ask any golf widow out there. I say that because my wife's one of them, right? Like during golf season, it's not hard to get people to go golf. Like it's what we're all trying to do. We're all obsessed, right? And so for us, it's slightly different. And I love what Moonwalk's doing because it's incentivizing behavior, something I know very, very well. But that's not really it. We're trying to do a little bit of a different behavior shift. And I think that's the same thing to your point about community and social. The I think that for us, we wanted to make the social features inside of golf and kind of what you wanted it to be.
Yep.
And that was where we had um, what we had conversations around what should be shareable. We had our Web3 roots coming through where it's like, I don't want to post my location because people know where I am. And like, that's not great. If they know where I'm playing golf all the time, they can come find me. Right. Like, I don't want that. Those are my friends. So we created like these dual environments where it's like you can have people that can't see where you are that you can coordinate with. You can have this other environment with your friends that know where you are and see what you do. But the connecting those worlds, I think, over that shared experience is kind of the point where it doesn't really matter, right? Like whether or not you're a public golfer, a private golfer, or someone who just started working out, or someone who runs ultra marathons, right? Like finding a new place to engage is good.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out the right place to marry them, and we're just trying to provide experiences for people to meet, right?
Yeah, no, it's great because like I imagine I guess the answer comes down to both. It's
It
like you
does.
need both. You need a way where people that already know each other can have a positive relationship on the app that might be better than if they were to do it outside. And to your point, like again, the whole premise behind Moonwalk Fitness, that like before you go into the full demo, is you have step count goals that you set for day, week, time frames, and you get into pools of people that share those goals, and then whoever does complete the amount of steps, let's say 10,000 a day was the American Heart Association recommendation from a while ago. Whoever gets that, wins, basically splits the prize pool from and takes from those that don't do it. And so, like, what's cool about that is you actually build up a track record and a legacy over time with a group of friends if you were to do this, and if you're all just like trying to exchange cash or Venmo each week or something like that. So it's a better experience than if you individually doing it with your friends outside of the app. But then you might be incentivized to find new groups of people. City, I imagine. Have you guys started doing that yet? Going to specific geography neighborhoods, saying, "Hey, this is a moonwalk group for the walk with other people." Yeah, I know in New York, run clubs are a huge thing. In fact, a lot of people, my age, like I'm not going to go on a dating app anymore. I'm going to go to a run club, and that's basically where all the flirting's happening. It's where people are meeting. Is that part of your vision? Has that worked so far? What do you think?
Yes, the community part has been so important. And I think something we've seen again that crypto does very well is, coordination of groups of people with similar interests or similar goals, whether that be making money or something else like walking. And we want to take, or at least I, something that I think about a lot, and something that when I show the demo, I'll give a teaser of something that we're working on right now to do this much more cleanly, which is how do we take groups of people in similar geographies with similar interests, with similar goals at similar levels, whatever the case may be. How do we bring them together and give them a place to congregate, a place to socialize, a place to support each other? Because a lot of the feedback from the question you asked before that we've gotten on the product is having a group of like-minded people around me as a support system is this really positive peer pressure that actually holds me accountable. So beyond putting money on the line, which you get all of it back if you hit the step goal consistently, the social part has been surprisingly powerful. That's something I actually was surprised by as I got more and more user stories of just being in this group. And, I don't even know these people necessarily, has been really powerful for me to keep going, because if I'm not hitting their goals and I see that they are, that motivates me to do better. But I think there's another element of it that you mentioned, which is run clubs. Like I want to onboard them all. One, for the financial incentives part that's sort of missing from that experience now, it gives them the ability to connect with each other and compete when they're not in person together. But I also think run clubs are going to be replaced by walk clubs. And I think that'll work for the dating angle as well, because how can you, I'm out of shape. With running, so I can't speak as well when I'm running, but I could speak when I'm walking. And I think there's so many great connections made when you do that. We've started doing in-person meetups, and that's been probably the most powerful part of working on this project for me, is bringing people together. Some of them know each other, some of them don't, but we're all there for the same purpose. This is an activity, regardless of your age, your fitness level, you're able to do, hopefully. And I think it just connects people in a really interesting way. And we've seen people have an appetite with run clubs and fitness classes, as an example, for that type of connection around healthy activities. So that's going to be baked into the product much more heavily moving forward. It's an element that in the current version, for the people in the audience I saw that are in games right now, it's sort of missing. Like you can add a friend in the app, but you can't have the banter within a game. You can't onboard, say, an entire community that you're joining, and you don't have like an actual place for that group of people within the app. And for us, as we think of like, long story less long on more of the mainstream go to market, if you're a fitness influencer, for example, what is the value add of you taking the audience you've accumulated on Instagram and bringing it to a product like Moonwalk if you can't own the experience for the community that you've brought there? So I think there's, definitely a method to how it's done in a way that it's advantageous for groups that already exist. But we're thinking about run clubs. We're thinking about fitness influencers that have audiences that they want to engage in a fun and healthy way and potentially reward them. That's a really big focus, and just community is so important. That goes for any project, but I think especially in fitness, that's really where the stickiness is, in my opinion.
Well, we have
Sorry.
we have Jakey on here. I don't know if he wants to come up. If you want to come up, just request Jake. You can come up for a second and hang out. But
From Base
I
House.
do think, maybe knowing Jakey, maybe you just put vaping in. Like maybe it's like, hey, like not only you're walking, you're getting some points if you're vaping too. Like, you got to, if you're doing one, you got to balance it out with the other, I feel like it's a little yin yang type thing.
Or we get Jakey to put money on the line to see how long you can go without vaping. That's what I'd like to see. And then we video him for Based House content. So he could make content out of that too.
I'm sure Polymarket will help out and put together something for how long you can go on that.
That's fun. I would, or also our friends also at Dare.market might be able to help out a little bit.
Heroes.
All right. Well, that was a really fun conversation. Hopefully we painted a really exciting vision of how the things we do already and getting healthier can actually help us earn. And as part of that, it's going to help us not only create alpha, but it's also going to help us build deeper relationships with people. And I think ultimately, we always joke in crypto, we need to touch grass. Well, these are the people that allow you to touch grass while also maybe making a little bit of dough on the backside. So go out and touch grass. What are the things we do on this channel that's so critical as we do demos? Because again, in a lot of times there's so many podcasts out there, but nobody does demos on the podcast. And it kind of blows my mind because we have insane developers and builders and managers here that like we should be highlighting. So let's maybe start with GolfN. I would love to hear, Jared, like what's the best way to demo? If you want to share your screen and pull up a couple slides, feel free. If whatever you want to do, we can make it happen.
How about a live view of my phone?
There we go. That's perfect.
Yeah. So that's my actual phone. And
Text them. Everyone
I
text them right now.
Yeah. I have it on mute. I did, but there are some push throughs. Like if my wife is urgently trying to get me, it'll come through. But yeah. So this is the app. And it was funny. We were talking about the social piece here, and I was just going through. We have For You page, we have friend page, clubs and leagues, like my own posts. I was at a Ballymeal in Denver last week, right? And so you can see some of these things. But the clubs and leagues is interesting because this is how we're getting people to like meet. And I just noticed that this is a little bit messed up. So I was sending my devs a note while we were talking. But the idea here is like you can go follow people and you can become friends with people. But like when you play a course, you follow that course. And then if you go to clubs and leagues, you'll just see like if anyone else played the same place that you played using this app, you'll see them in here. That's how you can meet new people, right? So there's like other ways to go, well, like who else? And like I belong to a country club, so I expect to see a lot of my friends on my club using this, even if they're not friends with me on the app, right? So you have these other ways to get in there. But yeah, functionally speaking, from the homepage, we have a learning center. You can come in, you can learn about the app. Different how-to videos, different walkthroughs on what it is we're trying to do. You go to start a round. This will just kind of default to my club here. Even whilst I'm not there, I go to start a round, which I'd already equipped clubs for, which I probably shouldn't have done. So maybe I'll go back. But we're a digital caddy app, right? This is actually
so you imported all of the clubs, or you basically have access to at least not all, but a lot of the clubs, at least in the U.S.
Every golf course in the world.
Every golf course in the world.
So
basically, you're a digital. So then the value proposition when you're explaining this to people, it's like, hey, it's a digital caddy with so much more. Like what's the value
that's
proposition?
it. Yeah, so like to get an idea about what it is that we're doing here. Right now, there's probably 15 apps, 20 apps on the App Store that are like some version of digital caddy. Okay, where like what I just showed you, and I'll go back, but I want to show the actual walkthrough because I think it's a better conversation to have. But like digital caddy apps where like when you're on course, you get like information to help you play. You also get insights and stats into your own game. There's probably 15, 20 of them on the App Store right now. They all cost somewhere between $50 and $200 a year to get access to a lot of those features. Yeah. And so we built all those features into our app. all of those features are 100% free. We don't charge a dime for them. We're just going to give them away. And when you use the app, you earn a little, but the more you engage, you earn more. And there are other ways to ramp your earnings in here, and that's kind of how we pull our entire system together. So I'm on a dev mode right now. I'll go in like I have a diamond membership. I'll probably have to remove my NFTs, remove random NFTs, go down. So like I decided I wanted a diamond membership. Well, look, that's your call. That's your choice if you want to do that. You don't have to. But just like I pay for a Chase Sapphire Reserve card when Chase Sapphire has a free card, like I choose to spend that $500 a year because I'll earn more points. Same concept here. You don't have to, but you can. And they're going to be for real things. So I have a diamond membership. I spin. These are pulling actual NFTs on the blockchain. So the 3 people that own these NFTs that we just pulled are having their NFTs rented and used inside of this game. They will get a piece of the earnings for me, this user, when I go play. So we make jokes all the time that we're like, hey, we actually built NFTs that do shit for like the first time ever.
Yep.
Because they do something just by owning them, even if you don't play.
Now, one
Veron's
quick question
here.
here. So why am
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
renting a digital? Why am I renting a?
It's what ties into the earning system.
Oh, so that's like I can earn better if I have a certain amount, certain clubs with it.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just removed that. You see the earnings down here in the bottom right corner, 298. I spin for clubs again because again, God mode. I'm the only one who has this. Me and the devs in dev mode. Okay, now I got legendaries. I went from 256 to 20,000 because of what I spun and got.
Yeah, and I like too how you have the game a chance. I mean, at the end of the day, crypto people love to speculate, and so I think you're starting to scratch that itch, that feeling that people want, but you're doing it in a more sustainable way than say what other parts of crypto. That's pretty cool. All right, this is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, club art is so sick. Yeah, I agree.
That was from Kate, which I appreciate. Yeah, I was. By the way, I did not do any of our nice clubs, but the crappy clubs, I did those. Those are me.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist, so I did what I could. But so I get these memberships. I decide I want to go play. Okay, I'm going to earn 20,000 points. That's a heck of a lot in our system. Okay, that's not nothing. And then I go to play, and while you're playing, you can actually watch your earnings hole by hole. So in the top left corner, I'll spoof my location again. What's always funny about this is like I end up starting rounds and people are like, "Oh man, have fun out there. So glad you're not working." And I'm like, "No, I'm working.
I'm working."
But
you gotta love what you do. You gotta love what you do.
You gotta love what you do.
Otherwise, what are you doing in life? If you're young and you don't love what you do, the question is, why are you doing it? Like, is there no other way for you to make earning? Like, you love to golf, and now you're building a game about golf.
That's it. It's always hard to do with the mouse. So give me a second here. Far easier to spoof.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Figure.
I think we're so you would basically go ahead and say this is where my ball landed.
Yeah, so I'll pull back out. There we go. All right, so I can plan, and you can plan your shot out 260. I'll have 90 left. When you're done with the hole, you can enter your score, right? And then in the top left corner, when I enter my score, let's say I did these things, it'll pop up. Come on now, got to hit all of them. Advanced metrics. I hit next hole. My internet's terrible. You'll see the top left will adjust here in a minute, and you actually get like an earnings breakdown based on the amount of holes that you've played. There you go. So you actually have an idea about what's going on from earnings and so on and so forth. So yeah, like that's the app. And then obviously inside of the marketplace, we have sweepstakes, we have redemption items, things that you want. We give away $4,000 bottles of whiskey, trips to Ireland, whatever it may be. And then obviously you have your own social features in here as well.
All right. Well, is there anything, any either access codes or things that we want to give out today or we can give out today?
Yeah, I will drop this. Do you want me to give it to you or do you want me to just post it?
Post it in here.
Yeah. So this is an access to. Oh no, it didn't go. Rejected by content moderation. All right. Well, I will just give it to you then.
Sometimes it takes one or two times. The moderators are very aggressive times.
Hey, I appreciate that. Better that than the other way, right?
Exactly.
Well, I'll drop it in. So anyway, yeah, this is an early access link to get in. If it's not here, hopefully, yeah, it keeps on
You can ping
dropping
it.
it.
You can ping it to me in the Telegram, and I'll try. I'll
Yep.
also put it on
Yeah,
our X. Cool. All right. Well, that's really awesome. So the value proposition: go tell your friends. Go download GolfN. Super cool app. That's a digital caddy. That's free, high quality, and gives you promotions, rewards, and loyalty tracking all together into one product. So go check it out. Jared, stay on while we do, because we're gonna do a little wrap
got
at
it.
the end. But
Yeah, for sure.
that was great. Thanks for walking us through that. All right, let's go over to Moonwalk.
I'm trying to figure out I know how to hit the mirror onto my Mac, but how do this is hilarious, Jared. I'm like the Gen Z doesn't know how to use my phone. How did you do that?
Yeah, so there's a iPhone mirroring on your Mac.
Oh,
You gotta do it on the Mac first. Yep. And then it'll ask your phone. You can connect from there.
okay. Technical
Vamp.
difficulty.
Let's vamp. No, that's old radio
So Jared,
term.
while Caitlin's pulling that up,
Yeah.
I think I saw some pro golfers on your website. Have you been working with any like high caliber golfers or pros, and what's that experience been?
Yeah, a couple. So yeah, Emiliano Grillo is wearing our logo. Actually, here you go. Breaking news. Not really, but a little bit. He's in the US Open this week. He's actually gonna he's gonna have GolfN head covers on his bag, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he is all in. We've had a relationship with Emmy for a few months now, and we met him by happenstance at the Waste Management this year, and got to talking about the app. I'm giving the truncated version of the story right now, but he was like super pumped, interested in what we were building, liked the gamification side of it. It was not our intention to be like, hey, let's get a logo deal out of this, but like we exchanged numbers, and I swear to God, for 8 straight days, he was texting me with ideas like, hey, can I get access? And when we were in early testing on this, I had the most test rounds in this, and he was second. Like he was, I mean, he's on the golf course every day, so easier for him. But yeah, it's been fun.
You get paid to be there. I can't, like, you can't, honey, I'm getting one up to my own app. I got to go out. I got to go.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it's been interesting to see his side of it. He really likes it. And you're not allowed to use apps on the tour. Like that's prohibited.
Yep.
But he spends his life on the golf course practicing or doing other things. So he's been instrumental in us solving a couple bugs, and that's been really cool to see. Him get excited, because I figured he would just kind of tell me to pound sand, right?
Yep. Oh, so I see what it was. A lot of times, I got your message. A lot of times, if you go to put in a hyperlink, they will moderate it, and the reason is there's so many. They'll just post scam links all the time.
Yeah.
So like if you posted a link and there was like a lot of scammers, you just all post similar links. Like, so I just put the code to join. This is the GolfN app on test flight.
Yep.
That's all right, kid.
Yep.
If it's still giving you a hard time, we can just walk through the website and look at some of the graphics. Let me know what you want to do.
I want to show you the new UI that we're teasing.
I want to see the new UI.
Our social features.
It looks sweet.
We're on the up and up for sure. Jared, where is the mirroring in Chrome settings for a Mac?
Yeah, so let me see. If you just go to your overall like launchpad and you type in mirroring, it should be on the latest version.
When I did that, it only pulled up for my TV.
Oh, really?
Oh, like in the launchpad that has like all the apps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see iPhone. Might just be a version of Mac too.
Skill issue for sure. I think I'm finding it.
I tell you what, it actually wasn't that bad when you were doing this. So maybe just show us a couple quick highlights.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. By the way, okay. So as we've already talked about, Moonwalk, fitness accountability app that gamifies daily movement. You have a variety of games when you download the app that have a daily step goal, lasts a certain number of days, and every game has an entry deposit. So you can kind of pick a game based and choose off of your preferences, whether you're someone just getting your fitness journey started, if you're someone that's walking a lot, if you're someone that has $1 or $5 to put on the line in a game, if you're someone that has 100 SOL to put on a game, which we've seen. One of our co-founders, KW, literally hosted a game with 5 or 6 people, 30,000 steps a day goal, 100 SOL on the line per person.
For how many days? Was it just
I think it was short. I think it was 2 or 3 days,
because
which is
that
like
is a lot of
it's a lot.
steps.
And a couple people did not hit the goal every day. So basically, the game mechanics are such that if you do what you say you're going to do, because we're trying to enforce daily accountability and habit formation, which requires consistency, one of the biggest problems in health and wellness that we see with New Year's resolutions. People always set goals. They want to live healthier. They go about it the wrong way, ultimately fall off. So you put your money on the line for games. If you hit the daily goal every single day in the game, you get all of your money back as a baseline. And then you get the opportunity to split a prize pool. That prize pool is made up of partial deposits from other players in the game who missed the goal one or several times. So say you and I are in a game, Carl, and it's 100 USDC to enter per person, last 5 days, 10,000 steps a day is the goal. I hit it every single day. I get my 100 USDC back. You hit 4 out of 5 days. Maybe you're traveling. You get like 8,000 one day. You don't lose everything. We want to, get people coming back. We don't want to disincentivize them from using the platform. You get back 4/5 of your deposit for all of the days that you did succeed and lose 1/5 or $20 to the prize pool, which would be split amongst me and the others who win. So with that preface, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is the homepage that you land on right now. Variety of games that you can kind of sort through. We have different way. Oh my gosh, there we go. Different ways for you to go to it. If you want to sort by how much money you're putting on the line, the length of the game. We
Shrimp.
have
What is shrimp? When I see that, what
shrimp
is
is a small amount of money on the line.
okay?
Because we want to have something for everyone, and we have kind of a variety of users who kind of go across the full spectrum. But the new thing that we're launching probably within the next week or so, because I've not
Alpha
shown it.
here, everyone. Alpha here. First look.
Yes, there we go. So we're going to have a social feed that we're incorporating, but more importantly, we are incorporating groups, which you and I were just talking about, the ability to form communities and have those communities have a spot within the product. You're going to be able to come in here, create groups for your friends, for your NFT community, your run club. If you're a fitness influencer, you could have a closed group here for all of your community members. And within that group, you're going to have the ability to chat, share updates. You're going to have games specific to your group as well that users can join. And you're going to be able to, of course, moderate who's in that group. You can assign admins, all of those fun things. Just letting people actually congregate within the app rather than just signing up for games and checking if they hit their step goals. So that's the biggest thing that's coming up very soon. We also redid, our actual profile page to make it look and feel more like a social app.
Yeah.
Rather than what it looks like right now. You can kind of see all of your achievements right here. You have the ability to customize a bit more as well, which I think is fun. And from there, the last thing that we announced recently is we have an experience points program to help gamify the experience and also give users who have been, consistent users of the platform become eligible for future rewards. Who's to say what those rewards are? We did add in kind of an extended version of how that's gamified and shown. So now we have a leveling system. Those levels go at 360 levels that pour into 6 different leagues, and basically those will make you eligible for upcoming rewards games that we're excited to announce in coming few weeks or so. So depending on the leagues that you're in, that will determine how many rewards games you're eligible for. Obviously, the higher up league that you're in, the more rewards you're able to earn. And that's coming up very soon as well. So a lot of stuff cooking in the next couple weeks or month here.
Let them
The
cook.
devs
Let them cook. I mean, that is really cool. I think with and we have some codes we're going to give away, right?
So I'm trying to think of what you would recommend the best way to do this.
What I can do is
I can give away game credits.
Oh, game credits.
Yes, because we don't need anyone can download the app on iOS or Android today in the App Store or Google Play. But my username on Moonwalk, and I'll literally put it here, is dead CA bounce because we had character limitations. If anyone adds me as a friend after this live stream, I will send them game credits.
Here we go.
So go into the app, add me as a friend. I will send you some game credits. You can use those game credits in any game. Put a little more money on the line, use that to earn more rewards, etc.
There we go. Well, there you have it. So what we'll do is first people here will get first dibs, and then we'll figure out if we can maybe put a little bit on X as well for those who watch it live but are following the channel. But free game credits. I mean, look, we are the live stream that gives you the community items. We gave away whiskey, we gave away NFT horses, give away game credits. get people onto new golfing apps that are free and saving people $100 a year. Like we are the live stream that gives back to our community. So by the way, you know what's really cool is our streaming numbers have just gone up the entire time. There's some live streams that start high and then they got to down. We've done the exact opposite. I think people are listening, they're watching, they're like, well, how do I get involved? What is moving? What a fun set of conversations we've had. The last thing I want to talk about is like, how do both of you 10x for me? Right? Like I think both of you have done a really good job in the salon ecosystem, building awareness, getting you. But I'm assuming both your ambitions are much higher. So, I imagine one of those growth areas could be corporate. I mean, if you're thinking about companies with remote employees saying, hey, get together and we're going to sponsor people to help like walk together. We're going to give like extra rewards. Like, I think that's a really cool way to grow. I imagine on golf, you have all sorts of and outings and people that want to connect over a long distance, see how they're performing. So how do you view the next 10x and 100x growth for both your products?
So you named the first one, which I think is a little bit of a longer term play, which is corporate wellness programs. A lot of corporations already sort of have this in place, but if, at least in the US anyways, as an example, if you're covering your employees' insurance, it would behoove you to encourage them to be healthy so they're making less in insurance claims that you have to eventually pay for. So I think in the future, there could be a potential for a white label solution for the app where it's customized for an organization. There are either rewards put on the line for employees that hit certain movement goals throughout a month. Maybe it's a quarterly campaign, whatever they want to do, or at least having some sort of reward system in place with verifying the activity that they do in a given day, week, month, whatever the time frame is. I mean, we're just starting on, having discussions around what our broader go-to-market will be. As I mentioned before, our current user base, which, has been quite strong, and I'm very happy with our, user retention and whatnot early on, is all crypto or crypto adjacent at the moment. So you can log in with phone number and all of the, more Web 2 friendly sign-ins, but we don't have fiat rails. I have not, as like the growth person, felt that we are yet in a place to be putting marketing spend on the things that you can imagine go into a broader go-to-market. Getting very close to that now with a lot of the things that are happening. But I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of making those efforts to get in front of a wider group of people. So a lot of that's going to go into more of the traditional type of, advertising plays that you might see for a fitness app like ours. I think just building general awareness will be super important. It's a very easy value prop for people to understand. So, just getting it in front of the right people, having more of the conversations with influencers on the Web 2 side that align with the mission, all of those fun things that I'm excited for. And I think things are just going to get crazy from here. I'm very excited for never having done more of a like mainstream consumer product relative to having worked on, DeFi protocols and whatnot in the past. I feel like there's just limitless potential for a lot of the ways that, we could market a product like this.
Totally agree.
Yeah. I we're such a unicorn in our space that for us, it's just about awareness, right? Like people are willing to pay an absurd amount of money to play golf anyway. Like how about get rewarded a little bit? So you'll see us kind of going a little bit more mainstream commercial. We have, like we said, some pros on our roster. I don't actually think like user acquisition is going to be a problem for us because, like, again, not a lot of unicorn type apps in this space to do it. But really, like, I didn't even get a chance to get into it. Obviously, we're on time and we have some crossover, but we're off course gamification too. So like this week at the US Open, if you have GolfN on your phone, you walk in, it'll say, hey, Kate, looks like you're at the US Open. You want to check in and earn? And then it becomes like a Strava Pokemon Go type challenged experience. Okay. So we're going to be capturing a lot of this week. We have like 10 people who are going to be there. They're going to be like recording their screens and showing it because, again, nothing like that's ever been done. And then you become event-based marketing. And we already have pretty much every major golf company in the world that wants to partner with us. And then we show them this. I think it's going to get a lot more interesting from there.
Totally. I mean, it's crazy to me how retail works, how you have the brand and then distributor and basically, and here those brands directly connect with this fan. Spending, to your point, hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a year. Some of these, it seems like an
That's
incredible
it.
opportunity. Well, that is, I think, a great place to start ending, because we're talking about influencers, we're talking about professionals, all realizing that crypto and can bring new groups better experience. And so I find that to be so exciting. Anything else to add on before we wrap up?
No, I think that this has been fun. We all learned from the previous move to earn era.
Yep.
We've improved upon it. I think that, quite frankly, and this is funny to say on Pump.fun, but I would say overall, there's been a huge move away from productive new creations in crypto. I would argue, and I'm going to get booed in the chat, but like I think memes have been a net negative for crypto for a long time. That people come in, they try to play the casino, they get robbed, and then they have a negative influence on what's going on. So it's nice you have two people on here that are actually building things that will be relevant for consumers and not just a casino.
Yep.
And hopefully we have a return to value in building shit that matters versus just massive pump and dumps.
Yep. Well,
Reach.
well, if we ever do a meme episode, we'll have to bring you back, because I obviously share
Please
the
do.
other side.
Yeah.
And what I'll say briefly before we go over to Kaitlin is, like, what's cool about this model is it's tokenized media, in that this has been an hour-ish live stream, 0 ads.
Yeah.
There's no promotions, like, because trading of the token, that's people speculating. Is this going to go up? Is this going to go down? The people that want to participate in the casino are basically, and also I'd say get a proxy to this best of this channel. Like, if you could buy a Joe Rogan token 10 years ago, would have been probably one of the best yielding investments
No doubt.
one can do. And so there's some unique things on the wagering side. I do think a lot of it is very short-term speculative. It's your point. Every one of these projects here are long-term oriented. We're trying to a crypto-enabled future. And, I'm not here for a week. We're not here for a week. And that's why we're here. And I think because of that, you actually get to compound the effects of success over time. Kaitlin, bring us home and help close us out.
Yeah, I'm with Jared as well on the hot takes, but I've actually enjoyed this streaming platform as well. So one, thanks for having us. And two, it is very fun to be playing a long-term game with a long-term mission in a space that is so often, short-term extractive. And I think there's just us being on this stream and what you're doing with the stream in general, of focusing on sort of the bigger long-term vision of what's really possible with this tech. And, the reason so many of us came to this space to begin with, I think resonates really well with me. It instills some faith as well, like, playing long-term games and bringing these products to the masses with interesting, innovative value props beyond just, extractive things. So download Moonwalk in the App Store or Google Play if you haven't tried it out. You're going to be seeing a lot more from us. Same with GolfN as well. Super excited about what's coming, even in the next 6 to 12 months.
Thanks. This is another episode of The Trenches. Again, the trenches are for everyone. And so that includes the long-term builders on Solana. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. See you this Thursday.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.